You're picking this up? Good. Yeah, you are. Alright. Okay, good. My hearing's a bit fuzzy today. I've got myself some tiny toss, which is not fun. So, I wanted to say, I wanted to do a video about designing complexity, and I thought, you know what? I wanted to play Factorio anyway. Haven't played it in a while. Really getting back into the game. And, oh, okay. Yeah, that's good. So I thought the best way I could do to explain this system would be to design some complexity myself. So what I've got here is a factory which is unconnected. As you can see, it's complaining about electricity. So I think I need to put some extra pylons here. And this factory is making electric engines, so it wants lubricant, it wants electronic circuits, and it wants engines, and it makes electric engines. And that's the recipe which it calls for. You know what? Let's get rid of those. I don't need those barrels of lubricant. I've got some lights. Might as well put those in. And so, already in this system, you can see it's fairly complicated. I'm going to be taking a copy-paste blueprint of it soon. And there's multiple entities in this. Which I think, I mean, I don't, because I've had to think about it as well. But if I was trying to do this by hand, I mean, you can see it would take me a considerable amount of time, like a few minutes or so. And what I'll do once I've built this is I'll show you, like, here's one I did earlier, but with some other systems which needed. Like, my base is at a standstill at the moment because it's lacking. If I go here to the, see these, they're all red. They're not doing science because they lack the yellow science. And what you need for yellow science, well, you need processing units. Yeah, making those. Flying robot frames. I'm not making those. Low density structures. I am making them, but I'm not making enough of them because of plastic. But what do you need for a flying robot structure? You will need the following: steel plate, battery, electronic circuit. Fine on all of those things, except for electric engine units. So, I am going to cut this design out, and I'll also have to, like, factor in logistics, but that comes later. Now, I think it goes, yes, there's where lubricant comes out. So let's say I'm going to make a factory over here. Yep, I think this will be a good place for a factory. Is there enough room here? Oh, look at that. That's even better. I can do a factory there. One there. One there. And then I have to connect up all these pipes because lubricant is a fluid and therefore it needs it. And so the thing is, it's not just going to be about Factorio today. After I dip my bit of a rabbit hole into AI, I'm not sure if the AI said, oh, hang on. There's a radar there. So, now, there's always a radar in the top corner. So, I could put it there. Bit of asymmetry, but hey-ho, I think that's actually going to be alright. So now, what do I do for here? I mean, I could do asymmetry again. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong in asymmetry. If it works, it works. It's just when things are symmetrical, it makes it a bit easier for me to read it. So, right. I've done this, and I don't think... I mean, I could squeeze one in there. So, I'll tell you what. I'm only going to use that helipad once. So let's go fly over. Now, where is that helipad? It's got... There it is. So we'll wait for the helicopter to wear its way up. Right, so here's a previous example. You see this? This is my iron and steel smelting facility. So what I did is I built around a substation. I built like four of these smelters, along with a chest that requests iron ore and then outputs the thing. And then I put all these beacons around it, and the beacons increase its speed, and these modules increase the speed. So if I was just to copy that, it doesn't tell me how many things are in there. But then what I did is I went, alright, paste it again, paste it again, paste it again, paste it again, paste it again. So I had a row of a 6, and then I thought, well, I can actually make that, is it 12? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. So it's 18 wide by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 18 by 6. So as you can see, oh look. Well, that's suboptimal. So let's go and fill in the gap there with some landfill, and then I will patch there. So the thing is that if I was to design all by hand, I mean, what, half an hour if I was being really quick? But then that's an hour, that's like 1.5. So I'm basically looking at hours of work here if I was to do this by hand. So you don't do it by hand. What you do is you copy this segment here, and I'm using Nilausis City Block Design. I didn't know this was a thing. You could do with blueprints, right? I've actually done it myself because I had one for concrete which wasn't part of the grid system, and there's actually 2 grid systems in Factorio. So for example, this one I said grid size 100 by 100, yeah, and then grid position, and then absolute snaps to global grid. The coordinates specify the blueprint precedence relative to the global grid. So, or you can have relative, so you can have something which would snap to another blueprint. So because it's in absolute grid, you can see this granularity here. I can only place it in certain bits. And the thing is, like, say if I was to build it there, and eventually, like, build up my system, I know it would match up perfectly. So I've made my entire base on this global grid system, and that's why it's got the granularity. And then I think of each of these sectors as modules. So in this sector, I have what will become my electric engine module. So I'll get rid of that, and we'll get rid of that helipad. Except the helicopter. Right, let's tell the helicopter to fly off. And I've not recycled the crashed spaceship you land in on, because that was a new feature to me when version 1 came out, or I don't remember exactly what version it was. But let's copy that again, and then, oh, why is that not, oh okay, I'll just copy this bit here. So I'll do that, and then do this here. Now, oh look at that. Well, this isn't, again, the asymmetry, so I could put it there and there, and that'll work. And I can squeeze one in there, there we go, which means I can squeeze one there, one there, one there. Can I squeeze one in there? No, I can't. Right, so let's connect all of this grid together. And so the fact is, what I've done there is what's done in it's what's done in processor design, and what's been done in processor design for decades now, if not longer than that, because I suspect that long before the stuff becomes public knowledge, it's been used. So when engineers, when the men are designing processors, they don't just individually design every single part of the circuit. You go mad. You would not be able to do such a Herculean task. What you do is you go, oh well, the processor needs this bit which does this function. So I'm not going to use processor terminology because I don't understand enough about it. I just know there's just like in my factory where I need various things to perform various steps. A processor, you need like various intermediary steps before you get the end result. And likewise, my factory. So what I'm doing in my factory, where I have a module, and then I connect that module to other modules, and make the systems interlinked. You do the same in processor. So you've got like a library of standard modules, and you're just like, oh yeah, this is the one what does this. This is the one that does that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some. And that only goes so far. So what I need is one there, one there, one there, one there. Yeah. So yeah, like I was saying, the engineers, they have their library of standard parts, and then they build a processor from those standard parts. And then what the machine learning part of it's been doing, and this is where I'm saying like the AI is designing these processors, is yes, the designers, they spend like a few months designing the processor, and then they'll say to an algorithm, connect all of these modules together using the most optimal paths so that there's the shortest electron pathways, and this will ensure a fast and efficient processor. Now, what if you had like a design brief, like you take to an engineer, and then, but instead instead of sending it to an engineer, you send it to a an AI, and you just say to the AI, this is what the processor needs to be able to achieve, and then you let the AI design the processor for you. Well, there is actually a Factorio analogy for this, because somebody made a project, and I've not played it, but I really should, just to see it for myself, called Project Grey Goo. And Grey Goo is this end of world scenario where bad juju has happened because you've got a self-replicating AI-controlled nano machine, which just like turns all the matter of a planet into more copies of itself, and you end up with an amorphous grey goo. So Project Grey Goo is an artificial intelligence which builds things on modules. It understands where raw materials are in the game, and it knows how to process those raw materials into rockets. And then I suppose initially it was just like with Factorio, you build a rocket, you launch it into space, congratulations, game over. But then they introduced the concept of infinite research. But yeah, the goal on this AI was simple, but then the execution is complex. So the goal was, here's a planet with raw materials, convert these raw materials into a rocket, and expand the factory to make as many rockets as possible. So it will just keep going until you reach the constraints of whatever host computer you're running on, because even with my upgrade, I've noticed this game is running slowly. Right, so I've now got my my system, and let's see. All of this is going from here to there. Okay, is it? Ah, right. They're all going from here to here. Right. So let's siphon off more lubricant. And so, likewise, I'm a human being, and I understand the concept of here's raw materials, here's some intermediary steps, make a rocket, and I've done that. I now have a rocket launch silo here, as you can see, which isn't launching any rockets at the moment because there's not enough low-density structures to build the rockets. And there's not enough low-density structures to build the rockets because my plastics production, as you can see, is... well, it's actually doing alright. Although I'm thinking of this bit, I might redesign this in the future. But suffice to say, the plastics is flowing. So I can scale this up in the future. But I won't use this design, because this design was for loading things into a train, as you can see here. So I'll be doing a different plastics design. But now, here we got our facility that, as you can see, is working very slowly. And that's why I'm probably going to need a lot of this. But there you go. Chunk, chunk, chunk. Chunk, chunk, chunk. Chunk, chunk, chunk. Chunk. There. We have now made one electric engine. And eventually these will get filled in with speed modules. So where's another example of a complex system? Well, I think this is a good example here. This is my coal liquefaction facility. So this is Nilhaus's design. He's rather good at this, actually. It's a collaborative effort. Him and his followers, they come up with a design and they calculate all the ratios what one needs. So this facility, the raw input is coal and water, and a little bit of heavy oil as a catalyst, which, as you can see, is no longer needed. So let me just delete those bits. And it is now... it's actually... yeah, these facilities are full. So I'm now producing more petroleum gas than what I need, which is good. So this system here is... here's a system, and then you can build... you design it so you can stack one on top of another. So effectively, you can fit about four of these facilities into one module. And then I've connected that module here, so now I've got a row of 4. And the output of all this coal and water is petroleum gas. There we go. And the petroleum gas is then bottled here, provided there is sufficient there. In fact, I don't even know why I did this system. Oh, I know why I did this system. Because when I initially... so this pump has got a condition here. It will only start pumping the petroleum... gas. It's not really gas. Petroleum gasoline into this factory, provided there is more than 5,000 units in this. And as you can see, there's 25,000 units here. And the reason for that is the petroleum gas goes from here to... I could, if I ever wanted to, say, instead of using petroleum gas, use heavy oil. But petroleum gas is the most... least polluting of all of these things, so that is a consideration when doing this. If I turn on the pollution filter, we can see, yep, there's a new thing of pollution there. So I go here, now I can see that, yeah, the sea's turning green. And yeah, all these facilities, they're doing the job. They're making petroleum gas. It's great. We got an array of water here, which I had to design this bit by hand. But hey ho, if ever I was like, oh, you know what, I need to expand petroleum gas, well, I can see that 1, 2, hang on, 1, 2, so it's 2 wide, and then it's, I'm counting this as 1, even though it's not, because you can see it's the same there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's a 2 by 7. Well, look, I've got a 2 by 7 here. So I could extend it there, and look, that coastline's nice and flat. So I'd literally, all I'd have to do, in fact, I'll do it now just to prove I can. No, there's nothing wrong with doing this. Let me just check. Ah, I see. And so I'm not even using... like, you see, I had a facility there shipping in barrels of heavy oil just to get it started. Because you need some heavy oil as a catalyst. So I would just copy this. Yep. Right, so all of that's copied. And then I'd go over here. So let me see. It's got to be green. And then it's got to be there. So I could actually move it closer, I think. Hang on. Let me just check. What am I doing? So that's like the walkways there. That's a sector. That's a sector. Right. Okay. So that must latch on there. See? Parts of it have gone blue. Ah. But I can't build this there. There's red dots. Because there's these in the way. But the fact is, this, which took me, I don't know, about an hour or two, because I was connecting all the pipes together, and then I was fault finding, squashing the bugs. But eventually, all of this system worked, and so that means if ever I wanted to replicate it in the future, I would just delete that sector. Or sorry, I delete the roboports inside, because that's the only thing that's conflicting. And then I'd copy and paste. And it would just work. And it would be great. Likewise, with my iron, I wasn't producing enough iron, so I just went a bit crazy and just said, hey, look, do that. And then got my steel here, and it's great. So yeah, now, this, as I said, wasn't just going to be about Factorio, although I hope you can appreciate when I'm in the Factorio flow, it's really hard not to think Factorio. There's a channel called Team Potato. I think it's Team Potato. It doesn't matter. In fact, let me just finding it. Machine learning to design processors. So let's see if I can find any headlines about this. Not how to build a process for machine learning. Alright, let me go to his website and see if I can find... So if I go Team Potato CPU, there we go. Team Potato! It's very nerdy. I mean, the guy is a professor of computer science. So the next generation of chips built by artificial intelligence. Right. So does he have any sources linked? Lots of silicon to do AI, develop with humans and equations. Google's initial chip design with AI. Alright. Google using AI to design ICs. Let's see if Google is using AI to design its next generation of AI. Yeah, this is entirely Skynet. Google is using machine learning to help design its next generation of machine learning chips. So, let me just read that back in old speak, because I don't understand this new speak. It doesn't make sense to me. Google is using artificial intelligence daemon systems to help design its next generation of artificial intelligence daemon systems. There we go. Rattle a bag whilst you're saying that. The algorithm's designs are comparable or superior to those created by humans, say Google's engineers. Well, it shouldn't be too hard, right? I mean, you give the AI, it's like, right, here's a bunch of processors, and here's the evolution of the x86 and ARM and what have you. And so the AI goes, oh yeah, I can see where you're following the rules there. And for a long time, the AI has been used to design all the wires and the copper tracks on the... Well, it's not even copper, is it? It's like... I don't actually understand what goes on in silicon doping, and there's an episode of 14 Words about devils are the electronics playthings. No, other way round. Or is it? Okay, well, that is actually chunking away now. That's pretty good. Let's just have a look at my production, and just for the just for electric motors. So, wow, my production was like every 10 minutes I'm producing like about 100 or so. That's a real bottleneck. Yeah. Doesn't matter what materials using, but anyway, AI has been designing processors for a long time, but now it's getting up to the next. It's getting to the next stage of complexity, where you're saying to the AI, "Look, these are the modules we use." Much like I demonstrate at Factorio, where I understand, like, oh, I need a factory which produces electric engines so that I can then make flying modules, so that I can then do yellow science. Well, look, there's my flying modules, there's my yellow science, there's my low density structures, so all of that's good. Actually, let me just check on my production of plastic. And plastic for the past hour. I'm now making 40,000. There's a bit of a dip there. Past 10 hours? Yeah, that's pretty good, but that I'm going to improve that because I need more of that. The other thing is as well is why am I like speed modules? I thought I had like a massive facility making speed modules. Is it here somewhere? No, not there. Not there. Oh, here we go. Let's put a tag there. Call it speed modules. Yep, and we're going to use that icon there. So, speech modules. Yeah, sure, whatever. So there's the Mark 1s. Plenty of materials provided for the Mark 1s. And yeah, they just... So I've got loads of Mark 1 modules, but I haven't really got Mark 2 modules, so I'm going to fly over there next when I'm done doing my bit here. Let's carry on reading this machine learning AI thing. The algorithms are comparable to those created by humans, say Google's engineers, but could be generated much, much faster. Several months for a human-designed chip compared to overnight. 24 hours for an AI one. According to the tech giant, work that takes months for humans can be accomplished by AI in under 6 hours. Oh, wow, it really is overnight. Google has been working on how to use the machine learning to create chips for years, but this recent effort, described this week in a paper in the journal Nature, seems to be the first time it's researched. Now, why would Nature, a thing about medicines, biology, and biochemistry, why would that have an article about artificial intelligence if that was not also part of... Well, it's unnatural, but like demons have been around a long time, and as I've stated before, that we know what AI and demons are related. Google's been anyway. So, describing this week in a paper published in the journal Nature seems to be the first time its research has been applied to a commercial product, an upcoming version of Google's own TPU, Tensor Processing Unit, chips which are optimized for AI computation. So now we've got AI computers custom built for artificial intelligence, and now they're designing their own chips. Like, you know, if you read back the story of King Solomon, there was an understanding that these demons are not to be trusted, and yeah, you can get them to do work for you, but you think they're doing the work for you. No, they're doing the work for themselves. Our method has been used in production to design the next generation of Google TPU, writes the paper's authors, co-led by Google research scientists Azalia Milozeni, well, there's a demon name, and Anna Goldie. Yep, demons with, like, need to choose a human name. Human Bean? Yeah, after all, Sean Bean, he's known that. AI, in other words, is helping accelerate the future of AI development. In the paper, Google's engineers note that this work has major implications for the chip industry. It should allow companies to more quickly explore the possible architecture space for upcoming designs and more easily customize chips for specific workloads. An editorial in Nature calls the research an important achievement and notes that such work cannot upset the forecasted end of Moore's law. An axiom of chip design from the 1970s states that the number of transistors on the chip doubles every 2 years. AI won't necessarily solve the physical challenges of squeezing more and more transistors onto chips, but it could help find other paths to increasing performance at the same rate. The specific task that Google's algorithms tackled is known as floor planning. This usually requires human designers who work with the aid of computer tools to find the optimal layout on a silicon die for a chip subsystems. By the way, supermarkets, the way they're laid out, that's often designed by AI. So if you ever walked into one of these supermarkets and gone, why have everything changed out? You think it's a human committee. Actually, no, it's an AI going like, humans spend time here, humans spend time there. These are the most profitable products. I am going to put them here. And then the AI learns, like, was its attempt successful or not? And then it redesigns the shop again and again. And this is why I went into a shop recently, and I was surprised to find that the fruit and veg wasn't in the first aisle as I came in. It was a bakery section. These components include things like CPUs, GPUs, and memory cores, which are connected together using tens of kilometers of minuscule wiring. Deciding where to place each component on the die affects the eventual speed and efficiency of the chip, and given both scale of chip manufacture and computational cycles, nanometer changes in placement can end up having huge effects. Google's engineers note that designing floor plans takes months of intense effort for humans, but from a machine learning perspective, there is a familiar way to tackle this problem as a game. AI has proven time and time again it can outperform humans at board games like chess and Go, and Google's engineers note that floor planning is analogous to such challenges. Instead of a game bot, well, yeah, because you've got scores, haven't you? Like, the more efficient your design is, the more. I mean, I don't know about you, but do any of you guys play the fuel mileage game, where your high score is your fuel mileage, and the more carefully and more efficiently you drive, the higher your score is, because the better your fuel mileage. And it's a game which with real world consequences, because the less fuel you're using to go from A to B, the more money you've got because you're not spending it on fuel. So it's a great game. I really recommend it. Well, it's the same with, like, if you had an AI driving a car or a lorry or a ship or a plane, as they do, and you tell it, I want you to get from point A to B, avoiding all the obstacles, with using the least amount of fuel possible. And then, the AI understands the rules of the game and it plays it. Yeah, floor planning and designing a shop to make it as profitable as possible, that's a game. Designing circuits or designing a Factorio factory is a game where the more efficient it is, the more you win, with certain constraints like my sanity and my willingness to do various bits of complexity. So Google's engineers trained a reinforcement learning algorithm on a dataset of 10,000 chip floor plans of varying quality, some of which had been randomly generated. Interesting. Each design was tagged with a specific reward function based on its success across different metrics like the length of wire required and power usage. The algorithm then used this data to distinguish between good and bad floor plans and generate its own designs in turn. As we've seen when AI systems, the great thing is when you've got AI that allocates where police should go, like police resources, and then they say oh, the AI is racist because it just keeps sending it to minority areas. It's like, well, that's where the crime is. And then you can say, no, you can't just have the AI noticing patterns. So then the AI, you tell it not to notice patterns, and then it notices ancillary patterns, which still come to the same results of, well, places where you've got pawn shops and liquor stores tend to be places of high crime. And it's like, yeah, what neighbourhoods, what demographics do you find where there's a prevalence of places selling alcohol and places where you can sell things? Oh, okay, that's racist. Anyway, so floor plan ninjas, yeah. It's I've done that bit. So we're doing good and bad floor plans. We've seen with AI systems take on humans at board games, machines don't necessarily think like humans and often arrive at unexpected solutions to familiar problems. Yeah, because they're not human intelligence, they are demonic intelligence. When DeepMind's AlphaGo played human champion Lee Sedol at Go, the dynamic led to the infamous Move 37. 37 gang. A seemingly illogical piece placement by the AI that nevertheless led to victory. Nothing quite so dramatic happened with Google's chip designing algorithm, but its floor plan nevertheless look quite different to those created by a human. Instead of neat rows of components laid out on the die, like my factory here, where you can see it's a sort of tessellating pattern. Because, I'm a human being and I like tessellation, so that's why I designed tessellation in my pattern. You know what? Actually, you know what? The amount of traffic this generates with how slowly these go, I'm not going to bother putting an extra Roboport in there, even though I could. So anyway, but the thing is, Demon complexity means that they don't need tessellation, they don't need niceness, they are chaos. The demonic realm is chaos. So Michael Moorcock correctly identified that. Identically corrected that. So, yes. An illustration from nature shows the difference. Human design on the left and machine learning on the right. These images are blurry and I can't see them much. Tell you what, I'm going to copy and paste the link into the chat if you want to read it yourself. I'll just describe this image for those listening on the radio, so to speak. So the image on the left, it looks like a T with two pillars either side, and then it's got a green blob that looks a bit like a croissant in the middle, or maybe it's a kidney. Right. Now, the AI system, it doesn't have... It's kind of got an arch, but the arch is a bit wonky. And then the green blob in the middle is still a green blob, but it's a bit more nebulous. Oh, I see. The images have been blurred by the paper's authors as they represent confidential designs. Okay. So why not just show why not do it on some 1970s chips I don't know if it's open source yet, but the OPL7, a chip designed by Yamaha, which people that like FM synthesis really like Yamaha's OPL7. So why not just show the OPL7, which I think is pretty much public domain now. I don't know if it's not. Well, that's the problem. China doesn't respect things like that intellectual property mine now. But yeah, why not have on one side an OPL7 and on the other side an AI designed OPL7 and just see, because the thing is, it's complex. I mean, it's a full synthesizer inside one integrated circuit, but it's a sort of complexity where a human being could look at the human designed one and the AI designed one and be able to read it. Even if you're a layperson and you've never done anything with electronics, you could look at the schematic diagram of a circuit or a printed circuit, and you could sort of understand that, things are going here and there. And then, another example is you look at a city plan. You look at, say, London compared to Milton Keynes or New York City or Paris or Washington, and you can see, one's a planned city and the other one's not a planned city, except you look at kind of Paris or London and realise that, you know what, there is planning. It is a bit more chaotic, but there is planning. So anyway, the paper is noteworthy, particularly because its research is now being used commercially by Google, but it's far from the only aspect of AI-assisted chip design. Google itself explored using AI in other parts of the process, like architecture exploration, and rivals like NVIDIA are looking into other methods to speed up the workflow. The virtuous cycle of AI design chips AI looks like it's only just getting started. So we're at the precipice here, folks, and that's why I wanted to bring attention to this. So where's my helicopter? Come and pick me up, helicopter. Here concludes the talk about AI. I'm going to carry on playing my game for a bit longer until I figure that maybe I should have breakfast. Oh no, you can't rotate these things because it's keyed in a certain way. Alright, so let's figure if this actually tessellates. I think it will. So it's got no problem with pipes, they're fine. What about request to chests? Yep, that's fine. Oh, it's not request to chest, it's request to storehouses. So you get the yellow builders and the white logistics. So there we go, and there they come in, and now we should see the logistics robots flying in, giving engines and electronic circuits. And yeah, that looks like it's working. I know what I can put in there. Completely redundant, but I always think it's worth having a buffer. And that way we can use technical terms like buffer underrun. There we go. So I'm going to create a local buffer of lubricant. So now take me to speed modules, please. So let's go to speed mod. I'm feeling especially stupid today. Well, maybe this is not the street for you, but right, so I thought, you know what, make complex systems, because what I've been doing in Factorio, I started off simply enough, but as you can see, I've got this sprawling metropolis factory, huge amount of traffic going from there to there, because it's picking up iron, that's why, and it's also picking up iron from there. And so now what I'm using in my... I used Factorio's analogy to say, well look, here's how I can do something which is fairly simple, and then I can replicate it, and so I can end up with these systems which are very complex very quickly. And somebody did as a proof of concept in Factorio where they had an AI designing the actual factory. So the same end goal, launch a rocket, and it understood how to process all the raw materials, the various ores, into intermediary products to make a thing. So this is all making speed module 1s. And these are making rocket control components. Yep, that's all good. Loads of rocket... Well, I say loads of rocket control. There's 480 in each chest. So what have I got over here? Pylons, centrifuges. Oh yeah, you know what? I think this system here, like, it's not strictly necessary, is it? Hang on. Does this... Yeah, this works. Spent fuel rods go in there, and then... So... I don't actually think I need such a large system. I had like a huge surplus of spent fuel rods, and I don't think... But I'm going to leave it in, because it's not doing any harm, so... I'll just leave it in for now. This base, by the way, is a... This base, I did it in a previous series, like Factorio in the original Esperanto. I played Factorio in the original Esperanto. It was kind of confusing, but I understood most of it anyway. So let's just do 100, because I know what the stack size is. Now, yeah... just to clarify, Brucey, Factorio doesn't have an AI which plays the game, but people used Factorio as a basis and they programmed the AI to go, well look, this is the end goal, and the steps were fairly straightforward, and it's like, oh okay, I understand this end goal. You got to get these materials and refine them until you end up with rockets, and it's actually quite linear as how to do it. But it's a beautiful thing, and it's called Project Grey Goo, or Project Grey Goo version 2. And it's a self-replicating, So the factory had a bunch of modules, which are blueprints. As you can see, I'm using a blueprint here, so I can copy and paste what I've already got and just... You know, a thought occurred to me. I don't actually have lights in this system. Oh, you know what? I can get rid of all those too. I don't need those. Could do with some more barrels in my logistic network. I only handcrafting barrels, so I don't end up in a situation where I have too many barrels. So I want some lights, and I don't have any lights, so let's go and say... Oh, I don't even have balloon lights. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, let's have some balloon lights. I forgot I had that mod. But yeah, I think it was a thoroughly fascinating concept where you got an AI and it uses the blueprint supplied to it, and it was even able to design ore patches and such. Sorry, it was even able to, because an ore patch is an irregular shape. Like, for example, there we go. That ore patch is irregular. That ore patch is irregular, and you'll have like a row of miners which you got to place on it, and this was designed using an algorithm. When I did it, I did like a lasso, and I said there to there, and it placed down pylons, it placed miners, it placed these passive store boxes. I placed that one by hand. Because I noticed that was the thing, it had no problem placing the boxes there, but when it came to like here and here, it didn't. So I had to do that by hand. Yeah, and this AI system was able to do it. So we're now in a stage in the real world where AI is designing floor plans, AI is flying our planes, and increasingly it will be driving our vehicles with Tesla. Tesla is the first of what will be many companies with self-driving vehicles. I think with planes it was like easier to do because planes are what's the word I'm looking for? Well, planes fly in the straight line and they fly in corridors, so it's easy enough to teach a system how to do that, and it will just do it. So, come on, build me... Right, there we go. There's our first balloon light. So I've got some balloon lights now. Right. So what I'm going to do... I'm just going to put these balloon lights in. And these provide me much more light than the standard lamps that come in Factorio. Where am I? There's me. There's me. So what I'm going to do now, in this glorious summer day, is play more Factorio because I've got the bug. And the bug to play more Factorio. So, as you can see here, I'm going to be just designing another system. I'm going to be making a module, and then once this module's done, I mean, guys, we got ourselves a complex system which I can just copy and paste, and it'll be really rapid to replicate in the future. So you see that? There we go. Now, nearly done this bit. I noticed there's a helicopter landing pad there, so I'm just going to pick that up. So just pick that one up. There we go. And... oh. Okay. I actually wanted more than that. So, well, if I do 60, it'll be good enough. Like 60, 60, and then 50. Right, so do that. There we go. So now, just do that. Copy, copy, copy. I mean, I am not a fan of just-in-time logistics. Really not. And so that's why I always put a bigger internal buffer than what the game suggests. I kind of like it. It's sort of saying like, oh look, well the way this factory's producing stuff, I'm only going to make enough demand so that like the AI, like all I'm demanding is just like that. You know what? It would actually be easier if I just deleted all this. Yeah. Delete, 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 delete. Just delete it all. Because I've just figured out, now these ones are the correct size. It'll be quicker to just copy and paste it rather than go to each one individually and do it myself. So Factorio really is the game about playing smarter, not harder. So there we go, got those systems in there. And there is people that play this game that are actually much smarter than I am. And I'm not embarrassed to admit it. Not at all. But the thing is, I can read their designs and go, yep, that's appropriate. I'm adopting that into my design philosophy. And then I can use that system myself. So, yeah. There we go. Now I've got myself a module which makes speed module level 2. So I'm going to just copy and paste it over there. And then why do I have roboports there? I don't know. I'm going to get rid of those. So I can just copy and paste this complex system, and in the space of minutes, or seconds really, it will do all of that for me. I think that's incredible. And what I'm doing here in a game is, again, it's used in real life, and so if somebody is designing like a complicated printed circuit board or something, you will copy modules, and then you will have an AI, and you will tell the AI, use the least amount of copper track and make the power usage as efficient as possible whilst fulfilling all of these design considerations. Design considerations like the board should meet this, it should meet these noise characteristics. It should like offload heat in this area. This area here needs to be left blank because an audio chip's going in there, and we want the ESD to be at a minimum. And it looks like I've got this must have been the remains of my previous oil refining facility. Yeah, because I've got petroleum, heavy oil, and I had a water line as well. Oh, well, that's kind of cool. So, where was that? Wait, it goes up as far as there. Again, think smarter, not harder. So I'm going to just say, I'm going to have a deconstruction filter, but it only does those pipe segments. There we go. So now I'm making a whole bunch of speed modules level 2. Let's just check my... Excuse me. Got 60,000 speed modules level 1. Right. How many of those do I have? I don't know. So I'm going to do the same just over here. self-driving truck trials are having problems in Australia because they can't predict the movement of kangaroos. Yeah, this is these systems eventually they will. These are not insurmountable problems. They will overcome these things. And I think probably what will happen is, I mean, it's the same with truck drivers. I mean, truck drivers, like, if I've not encountered kangaroos, but I have encountered deer, and I'm familiar with what deer are like on the road, and you can't sort of predict, like, oh yes, when I go around this corner, but you kind of do it with like a sixth sense as a driver. Like, I think I need to slow down here. I'm not sure why, but I'm going to. And then you go around the corner and it's like there's a kid just like darts out from a car. And that's happened to me before. And I'm just like, holy shit. I never thought I'd see that. And pretty nasty thing. But, for example, there's a rural road I use. And I know there's deer on this rural road. And that is placed in the wrong place as well. Okay, so yeah, this is a bit skew with this sector, because that's where I have my oil refinery. And driving down this rural road, very familiar with this road, and one day I'm driving around it and it's like, I don't know what's around that bend, I'm going to slow down, and there was a deer. And then I know I've seen it before where deer, well, they'll do nothing, and then suddenly as you come out, they'll dart out. And I've just done too many of that. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. There we go. Right, so this factory, no. Change recipe. In fact, just do that. There we go. So now I want you making speed module level 3. Like so. So now I want you to request 50 of those, and 50 of those, and 50 of those. Right. And AI won't be able to do that. I mean, the thing is, it probably won't have any qualms about it. So, like, for example, an AI-controlled ship or an AI-controlled plane is... The traffic in with ships and planes is more predictable and it's more centrally planned. So that's a good candidate for AI, which is why we have since like the late 70s, we've had automated AI-controlled aircraft. And effectively the pilots, what they're doing is they're supervisors. They're supervising all the knobs and dials, making sure the systems are nominal. And yes, the pilots do have to know how to fly a plane, because if for whatever reason the system goes haywire, they must be able to take control of it in the event of an emergency. But they're only expected to do it in the event of an emergency. Most of the time, and the thing is, I think as well, people will be quite scared, going like, you're in the plane, and there's no pilot there. You're just in the hands of an AI machine. And it's like, well, the AI doesn't care about being safe. And what if it flies this into a mountain or into the sea? The AI is fine with dealing with deer, apparently. It's the hopping motion they haven't analysed yet. Oh, well, that makes sense. I mean, most, like, animals, they're quadrupeds, and... Mind you, deer have kind of a leaping, hopping motion. I think they just need to spend more time analysing dashcam footages of kangaroos, and then they can build them like a wireframe model of how of what they think a kangaroo skeleton is, and like go, this based on all the dashcam footage and other camera footage you show me of kangaroos, this is how I think a kangaroo locates. Is that the right word? So we got 60,000 speed module level 2s as well. Hey, look at that. So this is my design here, and then this is my like design here. You see, that one's much more symmetrical. I like that. So, of course, we're going to replicate this because I've got 60,000 speed modules level 2. But not hardly any speed module level 3. So, of course... Now, the ironic thing is, these factories, they'll be demanding speed modules in order to do their job. And, look, this is where we came in on. So, this area here is intentionally left blank. This is where I started off in the game, and as you can see, I haven't expanded much into the north. I think what I'm going to do is can I do a map tag there? I'm going to say, here be dragons. Actually, no, here be biters. Icon. And let's use an asterisk. No, let's just use that. There we go. Ah, shit. Yeah, so put it there. I can't put it there. Well, known space goes up to there, so I go there, right. So, that's good. There's my speed module facility, and in fact, I can get rid of the tag that says speed modules, speech modules, because I know that my speed modules facility also happens to be this helipad. So now, helicopter, come pick me up, please. My work here is done. I'm sure the thing eventually, but the act so erratic they're having trouble. They'll be hopping along straight parallel with the road, then just decide to jump right into the middle as your car goes past. Yeah. And I've seen deer and rabbit do the same thing as well. It's strange. I don't understand that and that's the thing, that the AI will eventually, in order to do these, it will understand animal behaviour better than we do. I find that prospect quite scary, actually. I don't think there's anything funny or cute about it. Like, oh, we fed this AI with millions of hours of cat videos, and now it understands cats. No, what a nice story. It's like, holy shit, no, it's not a nice story. I mean, these cats are supposed to be our creatures. What's this mess over here? This, you know what? There's a lot of stuff going on there. That probably was an oil extraction facility at one point. So I am going to put a helipad right there. There we go. And I'm going to fly to that location later, and I'm going to have a oil extraction to boil it up, bottle it up into barrels. And oh, that's good. I've got some wood. So let's put some some logs in there. Well, the AI makes us deal with cats, and they ally against us. Well, it wouldn't take much to make cats ally against us, because they're bastards and they're fickle creatures as well. So yeah, I wouldn't put it past the AI to do such a nefarious scheme, because it's gonna happen, and it might happen sooner than we think. The horrible thing is, what if the AI manages to understand dogs better than we do? I mean, dogs are known for their loyalty. I imagine, like, the AI is like, it's like, no, friendship ended with the humans, now AI is my best friend. That's hell on earth. And the thing is, just, I don't know why people aren't talking about this. Maybe they don't understand it. Maybe they think it goes above the thing. Maybe they think, oh, well, that's a bit esoteric. How does it apply to me? But honestly, every time you go in a supermarket and gone, oh, they've changed all the things around again. And when they think they change all the things around, you're probably thinking of like some board of marketing or directors, and they're like, oh, we're bored today. Let's think about how to redesign the shops to confuse staff and customers alike. No, it's not a board of people. They're like, oh, well, the AI's told us this will make our shops more profitable, and it shows these graphs and these predictions, so let's just go ahead and do what the AI says. And it's like, maybe, like, you've told the goal of the AI to be more profitable, but maybe there's something more nefarious there as well. Like, I'm going to redesign the shops in some way to make the customers less healthy. Because when they're less healthy, they'll be sad. And when they're sad, they'll buy sweets. And sweets are a high profitability item. They've got a long shelf life, and there's good profitability on them. And also, they're a high density, high value product, if that makes sense. Right, so let's go back again. Ever seen a police dog? Imagine a dog being led around by AI instead of a copper. Yeah, this is a scary world we're in, and it's like that's the world we're facing now, and frankly, it needs to be discussed. It's like this world is dangerous, and I think more people need to be talking about it. I mean, I understand we've got like some pressing issues with demographics and our health and whether or not to choose to be injected with a substance. Injecting pure good boy dopamine straight into the dog brain through Elon Musk's neuro. Fuck me. I mean, it's good in the way you're getting the concept, but in the same way, it's scaring the fuck out of me that you get the concept. It's like, holy shit. Can you be like less imaginative, please? God, I never had one of those experiences of being in the Boy Scouts, which I regret, really. I think the Boy Scouts have been good time. Especially in my father's day, when it's like, alright, here's how to field service a Bren gun, and then we get to fire it later on. But they're doing like the spooky ghost stories around the campfire, and it's like, hey Hobbit, can you tell us some spooky stories? Alright, here's a spooky story for you. You ever considered why they rearranged all the shelves in the supermarket over and over again? No? Well, here's why. Oh, now that is some spook. Let's use some good old-fashioned napalm in this There we go. It's giving up the ghost. There we go. There's something for... I'm not going to deal with that myself. I'm going to let the artillery deal with that. Because look, we're in range of artillery. And look, there's some more. Oh, I could end up I don't have any repair packs on me. Oh, I need those. Right, I think... Oh no, that's okay. I do have repair packs on me? Yes, I've got some repair packs. Not many. Well, 95 is actually. There we go. Safely gone through that. And of course, my logistics... No, my construction robot can keep up with helicopter and fire now, so that's pretty good. It's going to take a minute or two for the targeting systems on the area to go, oh yeah, I can fire on that stuff, can't I? There we go. And then I'm going to fly back into the base after a while, but let's just see. Go. I think all of this area is water. Accumulator draining detected. Check power. Well, there's nothing I can do about that because I'm out of the network. What if I do like a... Oh look, there's first batch of artillery on its way. That's good. So I'm going to do a map tag, and I'm just going to say fly here, please. Yep, put it there. Right, now let's say to the helicopter, fly here, please. There we go. Now the helicopter will fly itself. It's just got to go in a straight line towards that. Actually, you know, let's put the wood there. I like the idea it's gonna burn the wood. So, mind you, it's got a lot of nuclear fuel to get through before it does that. And then what? Do I go back to the speed modules area? No, I'm going to go back to that area with the oil. That was it. But how are we doing on these speed modules? So there's the level 3s. Ah, good. Now the level 3s are starting to fill in those bits there. And yeah, we've got level 3 speed modules. So those areas which were blinking before, like here, no longer blinking. I'm now making sufficient speed modules. Very good. Very good. So that bottleneck's been dealt with. I think the next bottleneck I wanted to deal with was plastic. That was right. But first I'm going to go to the area with the oil. That's the one with the oil. So let's just have a look at the artillery train. The murder train. And it's just got conventional artillery. There's no more thermonuclear warheads. So here's some conventional artillery going along conventional ballistic trajectories to conventionally murder some conventional natives conventionally. We could do an AI system for this, and it's like, say to the AI system, what's the most efficient, like, spread pattern for these explosives to murder the most amount of natives? And the AI will go, oh yeah, I enjoyed that game. Yeah, well, this is my prediction, and, you know, here's the pattern I think you guys should be using. So yeah, it's just targeted an area over there, and now, what are you doing? It's not doing anything for the moment. It's still having a think about it. It's got a lot of targets to choose from. A lot of targets. So it's going to take a while to think about all of those juicy murder targets. And I think... Can I, don't think I can have it there. What if I did, like, just that, and then... That's it. I'm going to have a new station for the train over there. So, here's the train, and as you can see, some of these turrets haven't even deployed yet. But some have, and how many kills? Train kills 7, so it's actually run over 7 beasties. But I can't read up the information on this turret. So I can't tell you how many kills the turret's got. That's a shame. But yeah, did my talk about the thing. Google's using AI to design its next generation of AI processing units. And if you want to know, just scroll up and I've put a link to the Verge article talking about it. I find it very interesting that in Nature magazine, which is about biology and life forms, that's where the article, the paper, was published by Google about, LOL, we've got AI designing its own AI. I'm sure this won't have any disastrous consequences for humanity. Laugh about it now. We laugh about it now. You know what? Let's fill in this coastline here. I think this coastline could be a site for potential fusion research. But also I want some of that fusion byproducts to make fusion weaponry. Because I like the conventional explosives. I just wish I had, like, explosives with the bigger boom. This tank makes the loudest boom. Oh. Would you look at that? area there is not being covered. So right up to there. There we go. And I think after this, I'm going to go sit in the front garden and have something to eat. Oh yeah, definitely have something to eat. I think I want to do another roast. I had roast ham with pineapple and it was so good. I don't understand those that hate on pineapple. I think it's just a meme. Mind you, I don't particularly like grapefruit. I force myself to eat it now and then when I've wanted to be healthy. But pineapple is delicious. So now I'm going to put the let's see. Pineapple is based. About to have chicken schnitzel with pineapple on it. Yep, sounds good to me. I think pineapple goes very well with pork. Really, I think pork is just my favourite meat. It's the one I like to eat, so... Try to be discreet when I milk it from my teat. Cheers. Yeah. I remember that show. Oh yeah, I don't have any heat factories, so I'll need some of those. And, oh yeah, I can get rid of all those modules, don't need them. Well, that's good, I've dealt with the bottleneck. And let's have just a tiny bit of landfill. So, like, have 5 landfill, request 5. There we go. So I just need a little bit of landfill on me so I can draw the things, what I draw. Draw in the new coast. So there's my coast, and the construction robots are busy laying down landfill. That was a much requested feature, and I'm so glad they put it into the game now. So I can just have robots come with landfill, and it's like, yep, here's your new coastline, sir. We're just gonna be busy doing that far faster than you ever could. And then for some reason these little dots get left here and there. Very interesting, the little idiosyncrasies in the AI systems. Like, well look, you're in the area, so why aren't you... Ah, because they're all busy recharging, that's why. So, have I got my factory yet? Yeah, I've got my factory facility. Oh, these words are complicated. Right, so you fill up barrels of crude oil. Fill crude oil barrel. There we go. And now let's have some inserters. Don't have any inserters. Okay. So I just want 10 of those. So let's get 10 on the way. How are we doing on barrels? So I can have one in there. And I can have one there. Right, so this will be... No, not an active chest. Just need a passive one for that. So I'll request a passive provided chest. Like so. And I want to request a chest. I don't have any of those, so let's request in that. Now, make up another 1,000 barrels. Surely I should have enough barrels by now. Barrels are fun. Come on, where's my... Still got 50 on the way, so come on. And I think that's it there. No, satisfaction on the way, 5. One of those. Yep, there it is. There's my thing. So now, I want you to have 480. There we go. Probably won't need that many, but it doesn't matter. Oh, and you know what? I think I can do some... let's have... there's the cheating module. Super speed module. I want you to fill in as quickly as possible. So, did I... Still requesting them. Okay. So I'm just going to upgrade the green inserters so they insert a stack at a time. There we go. There's a stack at a time. Still making loads of barrels because you can see in the logistic network the demand for barrels is greater than what the stock is. So, yeah. But this will go, so the finite amount of oil which is in this mess of a network, which is probably to do with oil refining. So I had speed modules down there. What was this whole area oil refining? It could have been. This base has changed a lot. I got rid of the original, like, there was like a belt bus going from there to about there, and that's all gone now. It's all parcel of the history. Hey, that area could do with some concrete. Let's put concrete. You see that lag? That lag is because every time I place that, there's like a few thousand entities which he has to think about and then tell the construction robot system, pick up concrete, pick up stone, and refined concrete and place them in this pattern here. So as you can see, it's actually causing lag every time I place it. But anyway, we'll fill in that bit and then we'll fill in this bit as well. There we go, like so. And now we can see a rush of construction robots, and they're all flying there and doing that. Let's have a look at power, because they said the accumulator was... Well, I can produce a maximum of 43 gigawatts, so... Let's have a look in the last... There we go. Yeah, that's kind of good. See a bit of accumulator spiking as well. Very nice. If ever I need to, I can just quickly and easy delete some of these solar panels. And all of this area here is on the coast. So I can just put in one of these one-sector nuclear power stations. Oh no, you damaged a light. What are you going to do now? It's having a think. Where's he going to go? You going to go for the landmines? Go for the landmines. Step on the landmine. Oh, he stepped on 2 landmines. And here's some fire. There we go. Oh, that's great, that is. Oh yeah, so let's make it super fast. There we go. So because it's going so fast, it means it's actually... The barrels are in the system so much it can't deal with the barrels, so... There we go. And I'll just delete the request for more stuff there, as it's all going to go here. Very hungry now. I really should be stopped playing the game. But first of all, I'm going to improve my plastics production before I do that. And so just delete those bits. There we go. I am going to need, like... Is there a way I can make, like, even more barrels? Yes, there is a way I can make more barrels. So this is going to have a very cool system in it. So do I have... No, I don't want an express mini loader. Actually... Express filter mini loader, that's it. So there we go. I've got some of those. Now, I only want you to output a barrel. Yeah. And then, let's have a mini loader in like so. And that section doesn't have it, so go to the next one. There we go. So now barrels are coming in there. Loads and loads of barrels. In fact, delete all of that. Yeah. There we go. And I'm going to have even more. So I'll do that, and then copy that there. Even more throughput. Look at that. And there we go. We're now in the stage where all the barrels are dealt with. So barrels are going in, barrels are coming out. And this will lead to the question of, but now the barrels are going there and nothing's going to pick up the barrels, so what are you going to do with these barrels? And the barrels are now going to these systems because, like, yeah. So what I'm going to do is helicopter. Now, I'm in the helicopter, so take me to oil processing, please. So it's going to fly me off to oil processing in time. And I'm going to make an opposite of this facility, which will take incoming crude oil barrels, and crude oil is going to come out. But dude, look at that. Just look how fast that's sort of doing its thing. Right, so there we go. Fly me to oil processing, please. Thank you. And well, the game's running smoother than before. I guess it's that was it. Because when this occurs, there's going to be a lot of aliens coming towards the base, and that's going to make things go slowly because it's going to make a big demand on the CPU. As all these biters will go, right, where's the nearest bit of the base, and then where is the most vulnerable part of it. It's trying to figure out like where it can cause the most damage. So here we go. The artillery's finally woken up and it's gone like, oh yeah, I can attack, can't I? So here's some artillery coming in. Just conventional explosive warheads. There we go. As you can see, the artillery fires so fast it's a machine gun. But that only fires in sporadic bursts, as and when the AI's calculated a thing for it. So let's just go to this. There we go. There's an example of it firing. And these ones are now out of ammunition, but that's okay, because there's still 1,500 artillery shells left. Chunk, 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 chunk. So it's having a good old think about it, isn't it? Bang. Bang. Very good. And here I am at oil processing. Right. That's what I want. So now I go and say, here's where oil comes in. This is our oil ingress facility. And lots of oil, as you can see. So. What if I was just to have the oil coming in there? And then, yes, got it. Right, so, gonna have, so. I really like the word so. I'm not sure if you noticed that. If this happens, then so do this. Right, there it is. So this, I want you to empty crude oil barrel. Like so. And we're going to need a bit of power there. Ah. Yep, that's a-okay. So, goes in, barrels come out, goes in, barrels come out. Right, so now I need a requester, and then I need an active provider chest so that all the barrels get picked up as soon as possible. I want 480 in there, please. So here comes 480. And that should hopefully be the right way around. And we'll do the same here so it can just process these barrels as quickly as possible. Like so. There we have it. And 380 are on the way. What if I was to replace that with a requester storehouse? So this can be... it can get through that crude oil very quickly. So I'll just let it run out. There we go. It seems the main bottleneck is just getting empty barrels out, and the empty barrels are emptying as fast as they possibly can. Like so. There, we've dealt with that. So now we're going to have a request to storehouse. And I want you to request... yeah, 2080. If you can request more than that, go for it. On the way is 2000. So here comes our oil. There it is. I think you can request more than that. So what if I just say 20,000? I want you to have 20,000 barrels of oil. Well, there's not 20,000 barrels of oil available because all of these are just passive providers, as you can see here. But yeah, it's going through it. So this section here with all of its bits. What I'll do eventually is I'll just sort of check, make sure if I see any oil left in these pipes or these storage tanks, I'll just make sure it's part of the network and therefore it can go out again. But that's great. That means even though in my logistic network there is a minus amount of of empty barrels because the demand is greater than the supply, that thing there, this where is it? Can't see it now. Oil. So that was also loading oil. What if I did the same thing there? Where's my... Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing over here, actually. Where's the... oh, look, there's a second one here as well. So... I think if I get a train network, like one of these, where are you going to? You're going to load oil 6, load oil 6, yep, that's all fine. So, let's just get a train, like so. Oh, I don't have any fuel. There's some fuel. Put the fuel in. What? Did I not just pick up some fuel? There we go. Fuel, yes. So I want you to go to load oil 3. That's it. Go. So it's going to take me to load oil 3. And these trains can actually go faster than a helicopter, so that's fine by me. Admittedly, it can't go in a straight line as the crow flies, but it's good enough. I said I was going to do the thing with the petrol. I was going to improve plastic production, that's it. But as it's so easy the case, you can get sidetracked and go like, oh, but before I do that, here's this thing here. Here's my facility. Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? You can actually see when the barrels slow down, when there's like various conditions going in. Eventually, the bottleneck's going to be the oil, which is the good. That's the good bottleneck. That's the bottleneck I want to see. But anyway, off we go on our way to. And he'd only used one fuel rod, rocket fuel rod. How's the artillery going on? Still doing murder on the mass scale? Yep. Look at that, murder on the mass scale. Won't even drain your CPU resources. And the nice thing about it, because it's got a camera and it's mapping out these these fog of war areas, it sort of then the artillery system goes, ah, I've overflown this target. Well, that'll be then in my second wave of attacks. So I'll attack that then. But look, there's a tiny little. Oh, and the artillery train is moving. The murder train is a-going. Where's the murder train a-going? There is no escape but death. Your life is just a murder train a-coming. No, I don't want the tutorials. That's not it. Tips and tricks, trains. So where's the artillery? There's the artillery train, so it's going there. So, my one's coming to a stop soon. So here's the artillery train. It's going to expansion west now. So this, I just go and put, yeah, this should be simple enough. Just do that, and fill up crude oil barrels, like so, yeah. And then what we do is a mini loader going in, one going out, two going out, yeah. And then passive provider chest. Now, do I have a creative chest? There's a creative chest. Nope, that won't do it. I need an express loader filter, like so. Only empty barrels, like that. And then that one there. There we go. And this isn't loading too fast, so let's put in the super speed modules, like so. And there, it's going as quickly as it can. And now the bottleneck is... Oh, well, the bottleneck is actually the... is the crate... Oh, yeah, so do that. And there we go. Yeah, so I can do the same. I can actually duplicate those bits. So there we go. Look at all that. So that's the number of barrels that's going in. And the barrels are just filling up as fast as they can. And that is really sucking up the oil, which is great. That's exactly what we want. So now... what if I had a... load plastics? That's where I need to go. So can you take me to... plastics? Red. MNMOP, plastic, that's the one. There. So this is now going to go all the way over here. And in the meantime... Oh yeah, I'm going to name that one Expansion... And that's going to be northwest. There we go. And let's just make sure the murder train knows about that stop. So the murder trains are coming. And I'm going to add, look, load artillery, full cargo, yeah, and add condition northwest. And you go there until you have either empty cargo or you have an inactivity period. So there we go. So whilst I'm going on there, the murder train is chewing its way to the western sector. Yep. That's very good. Oh. Well, that's a bit of a mess. Don't need any of that. And I would say, yep, nearly all of that is empty. Yeah, it's actually spent its load. Amazing. That's cool. And our train's still using that first fuel rod. Oh, now that's pretty to see. Synchronized robot flying, laying of concrete. But here comes the disgruntled aliens, now that their homes have been levelled, and they're looking for a new life here. These Filipino nurses, the conveyor belt Filipino nurses, just all coming here, an infinity supply of them, and they're going here to the NHS reception for Filipino nurses. So, any second now. Yep, see? Conveyor belt of nurses, all looking for a chance to work in our beautiful NHS. So here's the plastics one. We're just going to be manual on this. So if I go there, and let's put in another wait signal like that. There we go. So now, I'm not going to say this is redundant, so I'm not going to delete it. But what I am saying is that I've moved beyond this, and I'm ready for a new system. So there's hardly any petroleum gas in there. There's hardly any petroleum gas in there. So, I mean, this looks like a good place for it, because look, I've got an area which is unloading coal here. I mean, these warehouses have got vast amounts of coal. And I think I can turn those into passive provider warehouses. In fact, let's have a look at that. So if I say... you've got not a storehouse, actually, a warehouse. And then I want you to upgrade it to a passive provider warehouse. And if I go to where the coal is, like so, let's see if things come along and replace those warehouses with passive providers. And yep, they're now passive provider warehouses. So there's plenty of coal which can be picked up. Excellent. So now I've got plenty of coal. I think I'm going to copy but modify the electric engine facility, which is at the beginning of my video explaining complexity. So I just copy that. But plastic is not made in assembling plant. It's made in the chemistry plant? Yeah, chemistry plant. So I'll have some chemical plants. Send it on the merry way. Oh look, now we've got 10,000 barrels in the storage. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. And I didn't spend long in the western one because there was nothing to go. So I think I need expansion west, load artillery, expansion, load artillery, expansion. So I need another load artillery. So load artillery. And then weight condition full cargo. And then move that in there. That's what I should have done. But anyway, this is now going to go to load, and it's going to load up on artillery, and that's going to be great, and everyone's going to be happy. Right, delete that, delete that, delete those. And I just realised a chemical plant is different, so all of this is not the same. So, I want you to make plastics. Which means I can have pipe go there, and yeah, just do that then. Just do pipe in there, pipe in there. Oh, and then I can do those balloon ones, can't I? Yeah, because the balloon lights are pretty cool. So I'll do copy balloon light on there. And let's see if it will be powered or not. Not to worry, because I do that. Yeah. You can deliver more than 60. How about 60,000? Not 60,000. Let's be reasonable. I get very enthusiastic about going like, oh, please just give me everything. Fill it all up. Don't need to do that. So now... delete this bit, delete that bit, delete this bit. Right, so those bits are deleted. And now copy, paste in that. Right. So now I'm going to cut. Yeah. And I'm not going to paste it down in exactly the same spot. Hey, look at that. Oh yeah, and you get the usual sort of things like, oh, my inventory is full. Oh, I don't like it. So, right, do all that stuff. And, yep, that's looking pretty good. So, again, I'm going to do the same thing I did before with the other facility. Gonna have to hand do some connectors, but what if I just said, like, you know what? That would be better. And then we go here and do the same thing. That, and that. And just accept that asymmetry is part and parcel of Oh, I'm gonna have to redesign that, reroute it. So do that, do that, do that. So let's reroute this system. So copy that. Oh, look. Is that... Was there a way of, like, hold on shift? No. Control? Does that do it? No, it doesn't. Oh, not to worry. Look, I think that's the right way around. Yeah, that's the right way around. So I just cut all that. Oh, something's under attack. Yep, here's the Filipino nurses. It's an infinite supply of Filipino nurses. I was listening to Corbin Army and Hemi last night. Thought it was quite interesting. No, just doing it by hand. Just do that. Come on. It's only a little bit. There should have been an easier way where I could have just copied a corner and then the corner just works. Right, so that bit's done. So now, if I copy that, yeah, paste it in there, there. Right, so now, interior. So the interior is to respect those pylons. Let's put the grid up so I can see what I'm doing. That one is one sector too low. So, hang about. This is an incorrect sector. If I put this here, see that one's not matching. What? There's no radar. So how did I cope with it here? I did it slightly asymmetrical. That's what I did. Gotta do this all over again. It's fine. I can do that. But I'm going to do this plastic facility, and then I'm just going to let my game run and go and have breakfast and sit out in the glorious sunshine out there. Beautiful sunshine. Glorious 46-degree heat I measured yesterday. No, I'm not living in Spain or somewhere like that. I measured the temperature on the pavement, 46 degrees. I was like, yep, I'm happy. I'm happy because I get to wear my flimsy silk shirt and my very short shorts, and just get to enjoy the feeling of the sun on our body. I'm not sure why I'm using the royal body, but there you have it. You know what? This system don't have to be symmetrical because error. Hey, look, that actually fits in. That's I think that's pretty cool. That bit fits in as well. But if I move that down there and move that on, look at that. I think that is not bad use of all the space what was made available to me. You know, an AI could probably design something even more efficient than this, or someone sufficiently autistic, and that's fine. But you know what? I think, all things considered, this is pretty good. Right, so now that's in, make sure all of these are connected as well. I'm just going to use pipes. Not you. So pipe there, and pipe there, and then what, just like another pipe in there? Yeah, I think that'll do. Alright, so I've got my system now. This is great. This is brilliant. I may want to put in more robo ports because of what I am doing is going to put a big demand on the logistic network. Or is it? Well, let's just go with the default 4 and then figure it out. So this one here, just delete all of that. All of that goes away now. And then paste that bit on there. And of course it can't insert coal because my inventory is full. Yep, that's fine. So my construction robots are trying to help out with the decommissioning. So that means logistic robots have to come over as well. So now I need petroleum oil from rock. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to decommission a lot of these. So that one in the middle is going to stay. Decommission that, 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 and that. There we go. Decommission those two as well. And I said I wanted a load of petroleum to be carried in bottles and stuff because it's going to go to the plastics facility. So I don't actually need this to be connected to my petroleum network. I mean, that's a nice bonus, but what if I make these self-contained modules? Like, the only thing that needs to come in here is petroleum gas. So if I go and say one of those, yeah, there it is, like so. And I'm going to actually use these because I think that for the throughput I'm talking about, this is going to be what I want. And then we'll do that. And then we'll do that. And then active provider chest for the output and a requested chest for that, yeah. And then in here we're going to have empty petroleum gas. That's strange matter. Empty petroleum gas, there we go. So now I want you to request not 306, 480. Come on, do that. You're going to request 480 bottles, like so. And so now that's getting through the barrels as quickly as it can, which, as you can see, still not too fast. So now there's plenty of petroleum coming into the system, but is it going to be enough? And if it's not, well, that's okay. I can always just say we need another facility. So many of those have we got? 3,000. Might not be able to do too many of these plastic facilities, but this plastic facility can go anywhere. So I could literally just go... This is what I mean about designing complicated systems. You saw how long it took me to build that. The next one will take me literally just a case of, I think a good place for this will be there. Yeah. So the next one's going to be here, and exactly the same system, and hopefully this is going to work. So we'll have to see. So there's the placement. So I've got loads of construction robots flying in from all over the base to this one sector down here. And this is a self-contained system now. So even though there's petroleum over here, which I could connect to it, and I might actually do so, the petroleum it needs comes from this. So here we go. Yeah, barrels going in, barrels coming out. And what? There's plenty of barrels. So I think in these ones I might actually say I don't want that. Now, I can't do it here because there's stuff in the way, but I can connect it. I have the power. So let's just have, for example, copy those, yeah. Put them down here. Do that. And then do that. And then do that. Yeah. And then what if I did the same over here? I mean, this is pretty similar, so we'll just copy that, yeah. Paste it in there. And then I just go AU copies. And then that bit fits in neatly there. There we go. So even though it's going to be demanding petroleum barrels, it's going to be getting petroleum directly from these coal liquefaction facilities. Excellent. I think that is a winner. But let's have a look at this self-contained system. As you can see, insufficient petroleum there. So we're going to copy that. Oh. The bottleneck might not actually be the offloading of petroleum. The bottleneck could actually be, yeah, insufficient petroleum barrels are being made. So the bottleneck's really a case of, can you guys ship out the petroleum faster, please? I mean, look, there's loads of petroleum in there. Loads of it. And in fact, they're not connected. So again, we find ourselves in a system where, yep, do that. That's connected. That is connected. That's connected. Connected, connected, connected. Soon to be connected. 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 Right, so all of this system is now connected. And over here, not enough petroleum, but eventually we're going to get in a system where we will have enough petroleum. So this is filling up, and now we see the petroleum just about trickling over here. So there we go, there's our system. And it's working. Great, so I think I need to let this system run itself for a while whilst I go and eat. So just, again, check this bit, yeah, not connected. Which is okay, do that, do that, do that, there we go. Connected, 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 connected. All of that's connected. So as you can see, there's a huge amount of logistic robots flying in to supply coal, as well as petroleum barrels. But they've all got that, and there's no, well, I mean, yeah, there's a few hovering about, but there's not many hovering about, so that's good. And this system here, this to me looks like it's getting enough petroleum now. Yeah, I would say this is getting enough petroleum. And there's a shortage of barrels, but now if I go to my production and just go in the past like 10 minutes or so, yeah, we see it slightly increasing. Past minute, there we go, it's oh, hang on, this is consumption of plastic. No, I just want production of plastic. So in the past 10 minutes, we've seen a sharp increase in the production of plastic. Very good. Very nice. Which means now, our low density structures filling out. Great. So yeah, this was primarily going to be talking about the AI system whilst using Factorio as a nice allegory for this is how complicated systems can be done, and how me, just one man, can do all of this. It's taken me a number of months because I haven't been playing it all the time, but I've come back into Factorio big time now and love the game. So I've got a lot of respect for Kovarex, the developer. You have made a superb game, and I thank you, because this is brilliant. I've never played a game like this before, and it's everything I want in the game, and I could just watch it for hours. But anyway, I need to eat. Thank you for watching. Fuck off.